perfect day here today. It's cool and beautiful, and Instacart just brought me a bag of charcoal, so I've got that and some fajitas in the refrigerator, so it looks like I'm cooking out. One of my favorite desserts of all time for a cookout is a Pavlova. In the event that y'all don't know a Pavlova, it's a big, beautiful marshmallowy meringue that's crunchy on the outside and just marshmallowy on the inside. It's originally named after a Russian ballerina. The Australians and New Zealanders argue all the time about who really started the Pavlova. I don't care. It's an absolute showstopper, and it is, in all fairness, pretty much the easiest thing you'll ever do. It's something that you start and stop. So it's 5 minutes here and it's 10 minutes there. It's just a dynamite dessert, so let's get cooking. First thing we're gonna do is we have 4 egg whites that about 2 hours ago I cracked open, so they're now at room temp. So we're gonna just pop those in our stand mixer and we're gonna let it go. Now we're gonna let this go until it starts getting a little bubbly in there, and at this stage we're just gonna I'm gonna put in about a 3-finger pinch of salt, and we're just gonna go for some bubbles. Now we've had it going for a bit and we have some pretty glossy peaks here. So let's see what we look like. That's looking kind of good. So it's time for some sugar. We have a cup and 2 tablespoons of super fine sugar. I actually did have some. If you don't, it's not a big deal. You can use regular sugar, or if you want to make it super fine, measure it, toss it in the Cuisinart, give it a couple of runs, and voila, you've just saved yourself about $5. So we're gonna add the sugar in 3 stages. So let that go. So at this stage, we're going to whip it until it is shiny and glossy and stiff, which is going to be about 5 seconds. So let's take a look and see how we're doing. We're not quite stiff. We'll give it a couple more here. Okay, let's check it and see how we're doing. I think we're there. That's looking glossy and stiff. So we're gonna shake that off. And now we're gonna add, let's see, we're gonna add a teaspoon of cornstarch, some white wine vinegar, and some vanilla. So that was the cornstarch, vanilla, and 2 teaspoons of white wine vinegar, which sounds like an odd thing, but it works. And this we're just gonna fold in. So we're gonna get this all mixed in and beautiful. And now it's time to put together our Pavlova. Now, most of the instructions for this tell you to use parchment paper, draw an 8-inch circle on the bottom of it so that you don't get ink or whatever into your Pavlova, and bake it that way. I'm not there. I think a Silpat, and if it's 8 inches or 7 inches, I really don't much care. So I'm not gonna mess with that. I just think that this on a Silpat works just beautifully. Look at that, is that just gorgeous? So we're gonna get all the little goodies out of there. And then I like to have pretty peaks, and I like the middle to be indented a bit because we're gonna load this with berries and whipped cream and all kinds of fine things. We'll give it a little scrape in there so that we get all of it in. And it's not all bad. Now we're gonna pop it in the oven. The best part of it at this stage literally is I'm gonna put it in for an hour and 15, turn off the oven, and then I can go do anything. It's gonna dry out in the oven. The longer you leave it, the better it is. I'll pull it out really right before I'm ready to toss on some whipped cream and some berries. So I'll be back a little later. My Pavlova is out of the oven. It went in, as I said, at 300. I did immediately turn it down to 250 for an hour and 15, and then just let it there. So our next steps are whipped cream, berries, and then our sauce. So I'm gonna pop some cream in and get that moving along. And that's however much you want. This part is lovely because you really just wing it. And in the meantime, we're gonna get our sauce going, which is probably the easiest thing you'll ever do in your life. For the sauce, we're gonna start off with maybe half a jar of Bon Maman raspberry preserves. And we're just gonna melt it. But because sometimes you just can't leave things alone, a little Grand Marnier will always make it a little bit better. So we're gonna just give it a little, nice little healthy splash. Let the two melt and marry together, and you've got a great little raspberry Grand Marnier sauce. So we're gonna let that melt and get together here, and get back to putting the rest of it together. We've got our whipped cream, we have our berries, and we're ready to go. So we're gonna start off with whipped cream, which is gonna cover my cracks and anything else that may need covering here. That's gonna be a nice bed for our berries. And we'll just cover our nest with that. Now, we're just gonna cover it with berries. There we go. And I just have raspberries, blueberries, and blackberries, but you can do absolutely anything you want. Okay, our Grand Marnier raspberry sauce is now a lovely sauce. And so we're just gonna drizzle that over the top. And we are quite done. So, it's time to enjoy. I hope y'all make it and have lots of fun doing so. It's a perfect barbecue summer dessert. And so far, everybody who's ever had it thinks it's pretty much a showstopper. So y'all have a good evening, and thanks so much. Enjoyed it. Love y'all. Bye.